Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday after Easter, after the Masters. All topics we'll probably get to today. As always, my name is Brad Brewer. I'm here with Vince Devall. We're with Eagle Homes powered by eXp Realty. Say hi, Vince.
Hey, how we doing, everyone? Welcome. So glad to be here. Glad to be back.
Glad to be back, and lots of exciting stuff to talk about today.
Yeah. I'm
A little real estate, a little Easter, a little golf. We always get excited to talk about that.
Go figure.
So let's kick off with the work stuff. Sorry, people, we're going to end on the high. I know you maybe get bored with real estate stuff. Who knows? I don't know. Let's go brief market overview. I think you've got some data there to share with us.
Yeah. So welcome to this week's Eagles Nest podcast.
Oh, yes.
Brad forgot the full introduction.
From Luke Commons, as always.
Luke Commons, yeah. So let's talk the real estate market. First thing is, for the last probably 6 months, everyone's been freaking out about interest rates. They have consistently been under 6.5%, and that's an average nationwide for a conventional loan. They've been under 6.5% for the last week. FHA has been under 6%. So that is phenomenal news. I know everyone was excited about 3% and 4%, but that is not the new norm, people. That is not what today is going to bring us. The new norm is now, low sixes, high fives, and if it does, heaven forbid, and hopefully it does someday, drop back down to the 4s and 3s. But at that point in time, just refinance like everyone else did when it happened.
I'll say this: I've heard from the experts. For frame of reference, I hate to admit it, but I'm 47. We may not see it in my lifetime.
Yeah.
We could. You never know. Call it a pleasant surprise if they ever get to that range again. But we are in norms. This has been norms since they've been tracking mortgage rates and interest.
Yeah.
So
I think they've learned. But, when we talk about the market and what it's doing, inventory is still low. And I ran a quick report this morning, Brad, because I was really curious. I have a couple potential sellers that their homes will be under this price point.
Mm-hmm.
The average list price on a house right now is $338,000. That's the average list price.
Okay.
So I took $338,000 and made that my high, and I wanted to see how many active listings were below that average price, because that's what our first-time home buyers are looking at, right?
That's true, yeah. That's a good point.
And so I looked at that. I went back to March 1st to today, and there is 0 active listings. That means they're under contract, they're pending, whatever. There is 0 that are active right now, which is kind of crazy. And with those, let me just say, I pulled up the stats. They're going right at list price, right? 99.71% of their list price is their sold price.
Which means, to be honest with you, because there's always those properties that are in that price point that are unfortunately in a condition where they don't qualify for a lot of loans, so then they're restricted to cash offers, some conventional, but a high number. Vince referenced the nice interest rate right now for FHA. By the way, VA is also under 6% for you veterans, which is pretty awesome. But you've got a lot of homes at that price point that are called distressed. They're in the distressed category, right?
Right.
Those are probably the ones that are going under, because we haven't listed a single one so far this year in that lower first-time home buyer price point that's gone under ask.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to change much.
I closed one last week. List price was $310, and we got it done at $300. Now the caveat to that was it was a cash deal, 10-day close, right? So they're going to take that. That's a no-brainer to the sellers. They have to not fight over financing, contingencies, and whatever.
So again, you're looking at a couple of things that are outside the norms. Cash, distressed. Right. Those are the properties that you have the likelihood, of course, of going under. So yeah, that's an interesting stat. I know there's stuff coming. I know in our team we've got a couple that are coming in that under 300 price point, which is pretty cool. I do like that because we got to have the inventory. So for you sellers that aren't selling because you're sitting there at your 2.5% interest rate, great. If you're planning on keeping your house for the next 10 years, but you're just hanging on to your house because of the interest rate, they're going to get reasonable again.
Yeah.
And you've got equity sitting there, so you can always make up for the interest rates with that.
Well, and keep in mind, so when I give anytime I give stats on the market, I'm looking at our 4 counties that are kind of surrounding us in Wisconsin. So that's Waukesha, Walworth, Kenosha, and Racine. Those are the counties that we're focusing on down here, and I take out commercial properties too. So it's pretty interesting to see what the market's doing and how it's acting today. Now, if we're to look at the full caveat of all the homes in those areas and taking out commercial, we're going for about 1% over list price.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and that was just last week. I just looked at last week's stats. They went for about 1% over list price. A ton of active listings. I think there was like 2,700 active listings in southeastern Wisconsin here. Now, those active listings are anywhere from vacant lots that are going for $10,000 or $15,000 all the way up to multi-million-dollar properties.
Sure.
So your multi-million-dollar properties really drive that average price range
Yeah,
up a little bit.
I'd be interested to pull out everything except for single family and see what that number looks like. Maybe we'll look at something a little deeper like that next week.
Yeah.
But I bet I'd be really curious on that number actually. So
okay, yeah, remind me after this. We'll jot it down. We'll get the stats and we'll talk about it a little bit next week.
Perfect.
Next
topic. So just after the quick market update here is so we've been doing this for quite a while. I'll give you credit. You're the setup guy for this.
We're almost on a year now.
We're almost on a year.
Okay.
So we've been doing webinars. So instructional. Majority of them have been first-time homebuyer webinars, which I think are an excellent value. That's your client that's got the most questions, never done this before, that we expect to do a little more hand-holding, which is,
I love it. I love it because they're so curious. They a ton of questions.
And I'll tell you right now,
they're fun.
The funniest thing I get from first-time homebuyers is before they ask me a question, I hope this isn't a stupid question. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you've never done something before, it's never a stupid question. I just can't emphasize it enough. Ask every question that comes through your thoughts, no matter how.
Right.
If you think it's dumb or not, it's not a dumb question. You haven't gone through this. And this is a little dig to some of your parents, grandparents that come on showings and stuff. Quite frankly, they're not always, because they've owned their home for 20 years or something, they're not exactly up on some of the stuff too that's changed in the last 20 years. So ask your agent everything.
Right.
Don't hesitate. We like those questions. You're most satisfied, honestly, when you're in the know.
That is true.
So
yeah, we've done 6 first-time homebuyer webinars.
Okay.
This will be number 7. Our goal is to do them about once a month now. Now that we're starting to get into a little better of a routine with our schedule and life and things like that. And it's very interesting because you bring a lender on that talks about what the market's doing for interest rates and the biggest thing that people are I'm still dealing with today for people that we've done that attended these webinars 8 months ago, a year ago, is my credit score is only the mid-6s. Well, hell, let me tell you, people, you don't need a 720 credit score. That is back to Brad's point of that was the wave of the old. That's what your mother, father, grandfather, grandparents had to, that's where they were at. Well, hell, 10, 12 years ago, they didn't even barely pull credit. They're like, oh, you make X amount of dollars? Sure, we'll give you a house. Or that was 08, so we're talking 15 years ago.
That's true. That wasn't the smartest era of the United States housing market we should brag about, we're talking about. But
right.
That was true, but you do not. And there's a bigger, credit's one portion of it. Another big portion is debt to income ratio.
Yeah.
So they want to look at, it depends on the loan, conventionals, usually I think in the low 40s. And what debt to income ratio is simply kind of how it sounds. How much, and they look at it monthly. So it's not like, well, I have a $80,000 car, well, but my payments, because I put a lot down, is $300 a month. It's not the amount of, the total dollar debt. It's what is your monthly obligation is how they factor debt to income ratio. So add up all those things that are reported to credit bureaus, including utilities come from structure now. Rent can be calculated. Rent is usually calculated. Your revolving credit cards, that's the big one. Keep your credit cards less than 25% of your available credit.
Yep.
That's what and they changed that with the credit reporting too a few years ago in regards to that's a bigger, kind of a bigger item that's looked at to determine your score. So keep your balances. I think we referenced this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, or no, when Kevin was on.
Yeah.
If you've got a $10,000 credit limit total in all your revolving credit cards and all that stuff, keep it under $2,500. If you have a little balance, great, that's fine, it's okay. Just keep it under $2,500 so that you're under that 25% threshold.
And my trick I tell people is if you get paid every 2 weeks, pay down your credit card every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And if you get paid every week, pay it down every week. You know, because nothing's worse than waiting until the end of the month, paying it down, and credit agencies report on the 31st or the 30th, and you don't pay till the 2nd.
And then it hurts.
Yeah. So
I'll raise my hand. I did it recently. Didn't do the every 2 week thing. I was doing really well with that, and I didn't. And I waited a whole month, and I'm like, ouch.
Yeah. And it adds up fast.
That one hurt.
So these first time homebuyer webinars, just wanted to share, we're doing another one this Thursday, 7 o'clock. We've shared it on our webpage, so if you're following us on Eagle Homes on Facebook, you can join us there. We'll throw it in our blog this week on Tuesday or Wednesday. There'll be an opportunity to register it there. And we'll Instagram, Facebook, we'll put it on those other sites as well. But these first time homebuyer webinars, attend them, don't attend them, sign up, whatever it might be, book a call with us. Well, we'll go through the process with you. We'll talk about what's happening out there, how to get you in a house, how to get your offer accepted, all those good things. So yeah, don't hesitate. It'll be this Thursday, 7 o'clock. It'll be a live webinar with Brad and I, and Kevin McSwain from Guaranteed Rate Mortgage, who was on here, 3 or 4 weeks ago now.
Yeah, by the way, we've done that with several lenders, so we've been mixing that up a little bit. We did some last year with 2 different lenders as well. So, because not all lenders are created equal, they have different programs. A lot of different programs. Some excel at certain areas. Some excel at VA loans. Some excel at, obviously conventional FHA. It really varies. So we try to bring you a broad perspective of different lenders too, so that you can, kind of feel comfortable with who you like. And that's how we handle, lenders all the time. It's like, here's a couple. What are you looking to put down? And then we try to help you fit. But at the end of the day, we try and place you with one and then let you, do your interview. Let's review the process.
Yeah, and kind of talk about that a little bit too. We one of the things I want to throw a little plug out there. If you guys have questions or stuff you'd like us to talk about on our podcast, go ahead and throw it. Ask us through Facebook Messenger. Throw it as a question in Facebook or underneath the podcast, whatever it might be. We'll follow up with it, and we'll address those topics in these podcasts. Great opportunity for us to kind of touch base and answer your questions. So I think maybe next week we talk a little bit about how the webinar went, and market and first time home buyer questions that came up, and maybe we can use that as our podcast next week.
Absolutely. I love the fact you mentioned that. We would love if you've got questions or topics, we'll make them a whole topic on the podcast. We love that feedback. We'd love to bring you information and details and experts too. If you have a question, anything really in the real estate industry, we've had inspectors on, we've had title companies on now, we've had lenders on, contractors. We have not had a contractor on yet, a builder or anything like that.
That's a good point.
So if you want something, let us know. We'll go out and find who we think are good reputable builders, contractors, whatever in the area, and we'll ask them to come on.
I like it.
Perfect. Anything else real estate that we got to cover today?
No, just continue to watch us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We have 4 videos that are coming out this week that Brian and I recorded last week. So take a look and hopefully you'll catch those. We'll share them as they get uploaded to YouTube this week. One of them just got uploaded this morning. So take a look at those. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Great opportunity to just stay on top of mind on different real estate things. So.
Absolutely. And I know this is live right now, so we don't have our links to our YouTube and stuff like that. By the way, when you see on the recorded version of this video, or just go to @EagleHomes72, it should be our YouTube handle. subscribe. We've got probably now, I think we're approaching 150. I know we're at least 120, I think. I know we're around 100. I know we're over 100 because I counted videos that are on our YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of good content, and that may trigger too a topic that you want us to cover more in this podcast as well.
Yeah. So how was your Easter, Brad? And I know you got the opportunity to. What did you do on Saturday? I know you got an opportunity to golf on Sunday.
I did.
Decided to enjoy the sun. You got to enjoy the sun on the course.
I did. So Saturday. Saturday I rocked out the housework.
Oh, you did it so that she wouldn't be mad that you're gone all day Sunday.
Actually, she was thrilled I got to go golfing Sunday. I give my wife total credit. She's super supportive. She knows, and she tells people, I've had little in front of me, other wives say, you let your husband golf that much? And she's like, it's the only thing he does. He does no other hobbies. He works, he hangs with the family, like on the boat and stuff in the summer, and then he golfs.
That's true.
I'm gonna let him do it, It's like
Well, and you're fortunate because your daughter's, older now, out of high school and grade school activities, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Yes.
I have soccer tomorrow night.
Did I do it when my daughter was younger? Absolutely. Was it tougher? Of course. I had to work on the schedule more. Like what I did Saturday, and it wasn't to golf on Sunday. I got up, cleaned the whole house, did the laundry, and then I went outside and I got the summer stuff set up. I got the patio cleaned off from all the doggy doo-doo, because they don't like to go out to the grass in the wintertime. So I actually borrowed Vince's power washer because mine died.
Took a crap.
I'm gonna see if it'll get fixed, but I think it's dead. But so I get all that set up, and then we had our first outdoor meal Saturday evening, which is nice. So my wife had she's the cookie artist in town, or one of them, if you didn't know, and she got home from a class, and she was thrilled. She poured a glass of wine. We sat out there, and I poured a nice bourbon, and we had our dinner out on the patio, and stayed out till about that winter, that spring chill kicked in. Like, okay, time to go inside. And then I was burning some. I had a little fire going, but it got too cold. But anyway, so that was my Saturday, and then I did go to church on Sunday, what's called the Church of Hawksview Golf Club. I mean, I'm
Where's
really...
that? Where's laugh? Oh, you can't hear it. Oh, we're not. It might have showed up. I don't know.
I don't know.
There we go.
There we go. So, well, I mean, let's face it. How many times during shots am I going, please, turn, or something? I'm praying a lot out there. Let's face it, right?
So accurate.
So no, I get to play with a couple of buddies. Not this guy this weekend. He was hanging with the family for Easter, which is good. It's important. Kirk and Jody. So shout out to those guys.
Did you win any money? I forgot to ask.
I hate to say this. I lost yesterday. I didn't lose much.
Okay.
But I lost a little bit yesterday. Kirk's in mid-season form, man. That guy's so Kirk and I are the same handicap. We're both usually hovering around 7 or 8 right now. I'm trying to get mine down to 4.9. I think was my goal this year. But well, we'll talk goals in a second. Well, we can start there. We're already on that. We'll go Masters last.
Okay, we'll go Masters last.
So yeah, Kirk and I we play straight up, and yesterday was. Here's the thing. So we have the ability, at least in the wintertime, to go to simulators, so we can still hit. We can see our ball flights. The technology is amazing on the simulators. They can tell if you're overhooking, slicing. It really does read pretty well. So we have the ability. One thing we really don't get the chance to do, and you can putt on those mats all you want.
Right.
But that feel of the greens, that's just one thing. And I struggled a little bit, but not as bad last Wednesday when we played, which was our first day. The weather was more impactful on that. But still shot an 84, which this early in the season I'll take an 84. It's hard to get the 70s this early, but I shot an 86, and it was 100% putting.
Yeah, I saw you at 36 putts.
Yeah, that's my average is right now around 32.
Yep.
And 32 and a half or something like that.
Yep.
And I'm trying to get that down. If you look at pros, I think pros average just under 30.
28.
Is it 28?
20, good luck.
Okay.
proximity
Yeah,
to the
no,
hole.
I'm not trying to get on the pro level, and that's because they do a lot of one putts. I mean, I could pull it up. I think my percentage from like around 10, 15 feet, I want to say in the 40% range.
Nah, who cares? That's too much data.
But the pros are like way higher.
Yeah.
I think that range, they're probably 60, 70%, I think, something like that. I just like to get down close to 30. I've gotten there before for an average, like gotten close down to like 31.
Yep.
If you can get there as an amateur, you're gonna post some good scores.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get down to the 30s, a couple one putts, mainly two putts, no three putts, you're good to go.
So let's talk our goals.
Well, hold on, let me talk about my Easter.
Oh yeah.
Jackass.
Oh, you were with the bunny.
I was with the bunny. So Saturday we had my wife's family over and her grandparents. It was, we had traditional ham, hard-boiled, or deviled eggs. I love deviled eggs. The other thing I found that I really enjoy, and I just, for some reason, is homemade French onion dip. Like with the sour cream and the French onion packet mixed together.
Is the homemade just that much better?
Then your Dean's French onion dip. Yeah, so much better. I don't know why. You know what I think it is? I think it's the salt content. Like, it's salty as crap. But yeah, had a few cocktails, sat around and watched the Masters until it got postponed, and then watched some hockey and had dinner. But then we also made strawberry pretzel jello. I love strawberry pretzel jello too. And what it is, it's pretzels. You crush up a bunch of pretzels.
I think I've had this before.
You layer them on the bottom of a pan, or you bake them with a little bit of melted butter and sugar. Lay them in the bottom of the pan, let them harden up, and then it's cream cheese whipped with, I think it's a cup of sugar in one pack of cream cheese. So it's really, maybe it's a half cup. I think it's a half cup. And then you spread it out, and then you put strawberries and then strawberry jello on top. Let it harden, and then low whipped cream. Oh, it's so good.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, that was kind of a sweet tooth. But what I found is, Brad and I have talked about this before. We have some, fitness goals and, weight goals and things like that. Just in general, like 7 or 8 goals to make us better in life, right?
And not chubby.
And I think part of it is just accountability and feeling good about ourselves. But one of the things I find is I have 5 days on and 2 days off when it comes to eating right, drinking, or eating healthy and not drinking. 5 days on, 2 days off. And 2 days off really kind of kills me. Like Wednesday, I had a few cocktails. That's all I can say. I had a few. Our friend Mark kept me out way too late.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. And then, but yesterday I did better on the cocktail part of it, but I found myself just snacking all day long. That's the hard part. So I got to find that happy medium. But yesterday I got to watch, did some family time, did some work around the house. Got to watch golf off and on early on. Then we did a 2-mile hike around the lake in New Munster area. So it was it was fun. Took the dog out, worked on her off leash stuff, so it was pretty cool. She got to go swimming a little bit. I don't know if dogs are allowed in that lake, so I should be careful about that. Even though I see them in that lake all the time. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, as long as they don't poop on the lake.
That's important.
Yeah.
Take a dump in the lake, dog.
Yeah. So, but then go home, watch the Masters. It was a great finish. I was excited for John Rahm to start 4 over on his first. What was he? He 4-putted 1. Is that what it was?
His very first hole. He 4-putted.
He 4-putted. double or triple bogeys 1 or something like that. But 4 putts the first hole. And they interview him afterwards. He's like, I liked everything about my game today. Like his first 18 was like, I loved everything about it. I hit my putts where I thought I was hitting them. The speed was good. I just missed. And so he was like, he felt confident even after round 1 and 4-putting and I don't remember what he shot day 1, 4 under or something.
He was one of the guys that got up to 7 under.
On day 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he went double and then he went double bogey the first hole with the 4 putts and then just
tore it up.
Birdied or eagled the very next hole. I think he birdied it.
Yeah.
And then he just went on a birdie par. The rest of the scorecard was either birdies, eagles, or par.
Okay.
Like that was his only blemish was the very first hole.
Okay.
And he shot out there quick, and then I think then the rest of the days until Sunday
really was a crap.
That was weather. One of my favorite golfers is Justin Thomas. I think I've said this. I root for the guys that are my height, my size. Justin Thomas is you know, 5'9",
10 years younger.
165 pounds, 170 pounds, something like that.
20 years younger than you?
He's 28 or 29, so about
28,
about 18, 19 years younger. So he's one of the younger guys.
Yeah.
I love watching Rory. You know, I was a big Tiger fan. I wish Tiger was, of course. But Ricky Fowler, you know, I love Ricky.
Yeah.
John Rahm is one of the like Rory, one of the European guys that I just like his demeanor. I like his approach to life.
Right.
Not to get in the whole live versus PGA thing, but one of the things he said was, you know, that money's not going to change my life. It's not going to change it. I already make great money.
Yeah, especially when you win the Masters, only $1.8 million or something like that. I mean, that was his purse. Second place took home 1.4, I think. So
yeah, I mean he's already made just in earnings. This isn't his endorsements, which he makes a lot of money there.
Right.
I think they said yesterday now he's up to 13 million made this year. So I get it. He's like, yes, is there a difference between 100 and some million and 13 million? Absolutely, but it's like
right.
he said he's like, I'm not going to change my life.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to buy another boat, whatever. He's got the family, so that was pretty cool. Would love to seen a couple guys. Rory missed the cut. JT missed the cut. I think that a lot of that was weather. I mean, there's because for those that don't know, that if you tee off, so Thursday and Friday before the cut, you flip groups. There's the morning group and there's the afternoon group.
Yep.
And then it gets flipped. Well, there's been times in the past where, and it's happened this weekend, like for instance, Brooks had the afternoon morning, but that was the best weather.
Right. Right.
John Rahm, give him credit, he was like with JT and Rory, those guys, that they had the crap weather.
Right. They got the reverse side of that.
Yeah, so they were dealing with more weather, which it's just luck of the draw.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody.
Well, and let's give a big shout out to Sam Bennett. Holy cow, the amateur going 400 day 1, 400 day 2 to be up in the running, going into day 3, third round, and just did a phenomenal job. I think he still finished 2 under, tied for 17th or 18th or something like that.
Probably one of those guys too. I saw him last year in the U.S. Amateur, and I liked him then. He's got a cool story. His dad passed away. He's got a knee tattoo, where his dad barely could speak or write, and he took the exact hand script and made a tattoo. Real cool story. You can find it on the internet somewhere. I'm sure it's a million places. I actually heard that last year and they covered the Masters, but I probably would one of those guys I'll root for as a pro.
Yeah.
Because again, he's like 5'9", 5'10", little skinny kid.
Guy. Skinny kid, man.
And he's like a lot of us amateur. He's not a long hitter. Like
right.
Pros now, I think the average pro drivers like just shy of 300.
Yeah, like 280 or something like that. But yeah,
his average drive is like 278. I mean, that's still further than I hit it on average.
Right. On average, right.
Right. I don't know what my average is, but
yeah. So the other crazy thing about it as an amateur, they get $0, guys.
Yeah, they couldn't.
$0.
Yeah.
He forgone $300,000. Now, he could have said he was going to go pro at the beginning of this tournament if they, but he has to sign something, forego his amateur status, and then he could have gotten money, assuming he made the cut, right, and was going to get paid.
But he did not, because he's still in school.
Yep.
And he still has a spring golf season. I think it's what's going on right now. Because here's a cool thing. I don't know if you heard this.
He's got a tournament today.
He has a 36-hole tournament today.
Yep. That he carries his own bag for.
And he was, as of last night, he said in the interview, he said, I'm pretty sure I'm going to play, but I'm not 100% sure. And they kept joking too, because of course, pro event, he had a caddy all weekend. College guys, they're carrying their own bag.
Yeah.
So he's gonna go 24 hours, a tale of two worlds.
So hey, we're right now at 9:30, Brad. Let's talk about your 3 golf goals. Give me 3 golf goals for this year. I'll give you my 3, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good. Why don't you go first?
All right. My first one is below a 9 for a handicap, 8.99. I'm right around 11.5 right now. The second one is average 31 putts or less. And the last one is no more than 1 penalty stroke around.
Ooh,
now,
one.
yeah, and so a penalty stroke could be anything from a lost ball in the woods, water, drop shot. hitting a fairway bunker, a greenside bunker. They're considered penalty strokes in the app that we use.
Like a sand shot, if you hit in the bunker, it's a half a penalty stroke.
Right.
It's considered a half.
Yeah. So no more than averaging one penalty stroke around. So, I feel like if I can eliminate my mistakes, then I will get my handicap down to where I'm shooting high 70s, low 80s on average.
I like that. It's kind of we have some similar goal. Of course, we always have the handicap goal because we have a little friendly competition with our buddy Tom on that one. So mine is actually I got as low as 6.3 last year. I just didn't feel good about my game, but had an awesome couple lessons from Jake out of Hawksview. Did a great job looking at my swing. And I reset it at 4.9 again this year. I think I'm going to try and get there. The second one is if you get greens in regulation. So greens in regulation is simply you get on and you have a birdie putt at least. That's a green in regulation. So the better you are at that, the better it is. I'm trying to get up to 50%. I'm hovering a little below, right around 40% right now.
Yep.
So I want to get to 50%. That should get me probably in that shooting in the 70s.
Yeah,
regularly.
Consistently.
And then my third one, I'm going to. I like your penalty stroke one, but I really struggled last year, and I wasn't missing by a ton often, but fairways, hitting fairways. My fairway hit percentage was like in the 30s, low 30s. I want to get over 50% this year.
Okay.
I had 71% yesterday, so it's a good sign.
That is.
I'm really loving that.
What was your greens in regulation?
Greens in regulation was only 33% yesterday, so I was down on that.
Yep.
But it wasn't the problem. I had several where I was putting just off the green.
Yeah.
So even though you're using your putter, for those our golfers, I've used my putter probably a good 4 times where it was literally just off the green. It was literally my putters. My putter yesterday was just
garbage. He's got to buy a new one now. It's usually what happens with golfers. We shit the bed with the club and we're like, oh, it's the club's fault. Let's go buy a new one.
No, I could not blame the club. 100% my fault.
100% the Indian, not the arrow.
Exactly. So we're excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
For the goals this year, I'm gonna try and get them and
see what happens. We'll let you know. We'll report back halfway through the season, let you know where we're at. But anyways, guys, this is Vince Devall with the Eagles Nest Podcast and Eagle Homes, powered by eXp Realty.
I'm Brad Brewer. I will see you all next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Bye.